Welcome back to the Coach Emery Show. I am your host, Coach Emery, aka Emery McMillan, and today I have with me a super dope individual. If you don't know who she is, and you're about to, and you're going to be very excited that you did. So stay and watch the whole thing. It's a lot of dope information. This is Jasmine Leyva, ladies and gentlemen. She has a lot to talk about, but I'm going to let her introduce herself, and then I'm going to dive in like I always do.
Oh my gosh. So I am so happy to be on your show, Coach Emery. And I'm an entertainment professional. I produced and directed a feature-length documentary called The Invisible Vegan. And it's tackling, the health disparities in African-American communities, something we need to talk about a little bit more. And then I've also been a producer on, shows from America's Got Talent, Behind the Music, and some other documentary style shows. And aside from that, I've also been in front of the camera too. So
Okay. So now that you've dived into that, I want to ask some questions about that. First of all, how did you get started in that industry in the first place?
Oh, okay. So I was that kid that was watching TV and I would be like, oh, if I directed this, I would do this and that. And then in school, I was in the school plays, always starring in the school plays. And I started writing plays. So ever since I was young, it was almost like it was in my DNA. And then when I went to school, of course, I think I started out as a marketing major at Georgia State. And I was just like, wait, what am I doing? Jazz, you love TV and film. So I went to California, became a TV major, and kind of like the rest is history. Like I came out of school, worked a TV internship, and then just kept going.
Okay. I like that. So for anybody out there who is in that stage of pivoting and shifting like a career or a major, right? Since you said you were doing something completely different in Georgia State and then you pivoted, right? Mm-hmm. What was the defining moment for that pivot? Like what gave you the what was the thing that said, you know what, this is the moment I need to do it?
I think you just always have that. It's not even an aha moment. Like if you are doing something that you don't want to be doing, if you're doing something that does not resonate with your spirit, you are going to get a constant reminder every day. Because your existence, if somebody could grade your existence, it's just gonna feel like, why do I feel like I'm getting a C on life every day?
On life. A C on life. Okay.
A C on life. So if you feel like you get a C on life, then it's just like, you know what? I'm getting a C every day. It's time for me to shoot for A+ and try something different.
Okay. Now, was that an easy transition for you or was it tough?
You know what? I think the idea of transitioning is always harder than the actual transition. So if there's something that you want to do, like I was in Georgia State going to school for marketing. And then in my head, I'm like, but I really want to go to California and major in TV. In my head, that transition felt big. Like, that's so much, moving across country, getting all my stuff, being away from all my family. It felt big. But then when I did it, it was just like, oh, this wasn't even really that hard. So gotcha. I think the idea of transition can be worse than the transition itself.
That's like most things. I like that. I like that you said that because I know a lot of people who are on the fence about switching, whether it be careers, majors, relationships, song titles, album titles, whatever it may be. I think that you just really dove into something that's super major, and the fact that it's always worse in your head. Mm-hmm. It's always worse in your head. So I want to share just like a really brief introduction of how we met. So I don't know if you want to do that or you want me to do it.
Go ahead. I'll give you the mic.
All right. I'm going to tell my version of it. And then you can tell your version of it. So we were both speaking at a panel with one of our good friends, Talisha, and it was super dope. It was based about people who were entrepreneurs and who were helping people, just inspire people with different life-changing situations and things that they were doing. And it was just super dope. It was all virtual. It was during COVID. And I had never met Jasmine before that, right? I never met her before that. And I got to the panel. I didn't know who all was speaking. It was so many people. And then I'm like, wait, am I speaking right now? Like today? And I had the information off about my time slot. So I popped in and you were talking and I heard something about a mermaid. I'm like, what? I'm like, wait, hold up. A mermaid? So I'm like, okay, maybe this is like a nickname, maybe it's like a coaching name, maybe this is like a title, right? So I'm listening, trying to find out what the relation is. And then I'm hearing the story that you like went across the world and like actually became a certified mermaid. Like, is that the correct term for it?
Yeah, I'm a
So
Academy
certified
certified mermaid.
Academy Certified Mermaid. So I'm like, yo, this is different. I've never heard anybody say that before. And now I'm intrigued because I never knew it was a thing. So I'm like, this is really, really cool. And so then I'm listening more and more and more to what you're talking about. And you try to talk about a lot of different things, and I won't break that down right now, but you talked about a lot of things in your presentation, and it was such a well-rounded presentation. And I'm like, yo, this person's dope. This person is super, super dope. Like, you went from talking about like personal stuff that made you want to make that trip, and then you went all the way back full circle to how you came back and like wanted to inspire more people to take the trip or take any kind of trip to just change their lives. I'm like, yo, this is dope. Like, she don't even realize she's coaching right now. Like, she's the coach. She don't even know she's doing it. So I was just like, wow, this is super dope. And then we ended up like chatting in the messages for like the speakers, and then we just kind of connected from there. So that's my version of it. So
Okay. And what's funny, just how when individuals are supposed to meet, like it just happens.
right.
I remember going in on your talk, and you were talking about how you have to always love yourself first. And before you deal with the world, you have to make sure you spiritually fortify yourself,
Right.
and have a morning routine. Like in the morning, give yourself love. Like, go on that walk you need to go on, like talk to people who love you, fortify yourself before you start your workday. And the same way you were inspired by my whole ass mermaid journey, I was inspired by everything you were saying. And ever since, like even this morning, like I get up and I read my like calendar of wisdom and take in positive quotes. I read the Bible. I'm not Christian, but I do read the Bible and take a lot of messages from it.
Right.
And then I do some exercises. Like that's how I start my day. And I kind of owe that routine to you.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I want royalties. I want royalties. I want royalties. And see, that's the thing. Like, you never know, like, who you're impacting, right? Like, as you were talking about the invisible vegan on your presentation, on that talk as well. And I started looking it up and seeing what was going on with that. I'm like, yo, this is major. Like, this is major. And you're just hearing talking about it like it's nothing. And I'm like, this is actually pretty damn big. And like, yo, this is huge. And the way you talk about all the projects that you do, like knowing you over time, the way you talk about all your projects, like you be hyped for like a second, but then you be like, all right, this is just work. This is just work. And I'm like, yo, do you realize like in the background, like, this like studio, NBC studio, or some random like places studio? Like, you just cool with that? This is just work. Like, no, this is, you know what I mean? This is goals right there. But I think that when you do what you love, sometimes you forget the hype of it because you're so happy to do what you love to do. And other people are like, yo, that's like the dream. And you're like, oh, wait, it kind of is. Like,
yeah.
Do you
And
ever
honestly,
get those moments?
Oh, definitely. Like when things first happen, like the first time I saw myself on a TV commercial, the first time I saw my film on a big screen, like it feels so good. It makes you want to cry. But as far as like, my attitude when I'm talking about it, I think a lot of the most genuine people, to be honest, are the ones who operate from a sense of humility.
Right.
So I try to make sure I stay in that place. Like this, what I do, like it's not something I do for clout. I did it because I was genuinely attached to the message. So when I'm talking about it, it's going to come from that place instead of, oh, let me put myself up on this pedestal. No, it's not about that. It's
Right.
about the message.
I like that. That's super dope, man. And I really, big shout out to Leyva, because I mean, this wouldn't even be happening without her. She's gonna be on the show too, so I'll be able to ask her a lot more questions as well, to dig into just everything that she's doing on her aspect. But right now we're focused on this you. Now, do you have any really cool nicknames?
Oh, I know what you. I
I'm
know
just
what you're
wondering
thinking
if you have
for.
any really
Do you
cool
have any cool
nicknames.
nicknames? Okay,
And
so
what's the meaning behind those nicknames if you want to tell?
so I'm an Aries. My moon sign is Leo, rising Aries. So I'm all fire. And this year I did, at the beginning of the year, I started calling myself a dragon. And it's a kind of motivational tool I use, because whenever something's happening and I start feeling weak, be like, Jazz, you're a dragon. Bring the heat, bring the fire. Like, that's just what's going on in my head. Bring the
That's how you
fire.
do it?
Fire. Yeah, yeah. And
See,
then
I
when you
didn't know
think,
all of
just
that.
the
I didn't
way,
know all of that.
yeah, just the way like dragons move, like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really a pack animal. I have friends, but I just kind of see myself like I'm just that lone dragon soaring
Right.
through. See something I don't like, it's like, no, I'm about to burn that all the way up.
Yo, wait, and what's crazy about you just mentioned something I never realized. Like I've never seen, even like obviously you never really see a real dragon, but even in the movies when they depict dragons, I've never seen more than two together. And the only time I saw more than two together was in Game of Thrones when she had three, but one of them didn't make it. But you never see more than two dragons. And even when you see two, it's rare. Like they typically are on their own. And they move real graceful, but they also could just
Fuck
end your
shit up.
whole yeah. I was gonna say that.
I'm sorry, are we allowed to curse on here?
No, you can't fucking say stuff like that on here.
Great.
Yeah, don't say no shit like that. So listen, no, you can say whatever you want. Ooh, that was nice thunder. So I love that. I love that it's that is a nickname, that is a concept that you've adopted, and it's helped you get through some of the things that you are experiencing throughout your life. Now, I want to dive into the invisible vegan real quick, right? I want to talk shop for a second, right? It's actually a podcast about information, so I kind of want to, dive into some of that. What made you want to talk about that on the level at which you were interviewing people and talking to people? Like, tell people about this project and how it came about for you.
So, okay, one of the reasons why I wanted to pick this topic, I'm gonna go off, but then I'm gonna get back on point. So, like, for example, my aunt let me know that I think her cholesterol was high. She's pre-diabetic. Her doctor was pretty much about to hit her with a bunch of pills. And she said, you know what, let me try what my niece is talking about. Let me try this vegan diet. She tried a vegan diet. She goes back to the hospital. They're like, what are you doing? Your blood is clean, your cholesterol levels have gone down, and you don't need these pills. And I think a lot of communities, especially, marginalized communities, they are not aware of the fact that these clogged arteries, this heart disease, a lot of the things they are suffering from are very preventable. Like even cancer, I'll be honest, I don't have the exact statistics, but just knowing things like people who eat plant-based, yeah, you can still get cancer, but it'll be like a 40% less chance. I mean, that's a big percentage. And one of the largest food studies in the world, the China study, where they, again, don't quote me, but I think the number, they did this test on like 25,000 people. Again, one of the biggest food studies that's ever been conducted, and it linked eating meat to cancer. Meanwhile, I'm learning this information. I'm just like, wait, I'm watching aunt after grandma die of cancer. So I'm like, if there's anything I can do, especially in my family, to bring, those numbers down, of course I'm going to entertain it. So a lot of people didn't know about the benefits of plant-based eating. So that's why I thought it was important to like, hey, we need this food that they're giving us, literally killing us, literally.
I like that. And I like that it came from a personal space for you. With you being in an industry where it's film and television, it'd be very easy for you to just make a show, right? But you did something that came from a place of a personal importance to you, and also making sure that you were setting up not only the people that are here now, but the future legacy of your family, to make sure that they know, like, hey, this is optional. Like, this is a choice. Like you said, it may not prevent everything, but it's going to lessen the chances of things. And I think that that's super dope that you did that and you shared it with people. You had a lot of big names on that. You, obviously your name's the biggest name on there, but tell me about some other people that were involved in the project.
Let's see, we had John Sally, who, you know, when I told him about my idea, it was no hesitation. He was like, yes, you know, Stick from Dead Prez, like his music, like he comes from conscious hip hop. Like when you look at what he rapped about, what he used his talent for, he used his talent to speak justice. So same thing, when I reached out to him, it was a no-brainer. He's like, I'm in. Same thing, Cedric the Entertainer. I showed him like a trailer concept video for the message that I want to send. I'm in. And it was like that for most of the people in the cast.
Now,
like
are
they
all
just
the people
liked where I was coming from.
Now, are all the people that were in there, were they already vegan, or were they kind of on the fence? Or like, was there anybody in there that was like turned or transitioned by the documentary while you were filming it?
The food, Dr. Psyche Williams-Forson, she was the food scholar I had in the documentary. She's not vegan. And a lot in the film, she's making the point that, you know, a lot of times veganism comes across as, you know, white mainstream trying to control Black bodies. Right. So it's good whenever you're doing a film, like you have to be objective. Like if I went in and just got all vegans, then that's not me being the objective filmmaker. You have to get people who feel the opposite and hear them out. And I'm so glad that I put her point and her perspective in the film. Yeah.
That's dope. That's super cool, man. And I love that you formulated it that way, because me, if I'd have made a film about vegans, I'd have just made it about vegans. It wouldn't have been nobody else. But vegans, we talking vegan, that's it. Nobody else. But you know the formula that works. So that's dope. That's super dope. So thank you for that documentary. Can you tell people where they can watch that documentary, or how they can download it, or where they can find it at?
Of course, it's all over. You can watch it on Amazon Prime. You can go on Tubi TV and get it for free. So no excuses. It's on YouTube for free. You can go on my website and purchase it if you just want to directly give to me, theinvisiblevegan.com. And last but not least, the first Black female-owned streaming service, Quelly TV. It can also be found on that platform.
Can you spell that?
KWELI TV.
Perfect, because I don't even know about that platform. So I'm glad that you just mentioned that. You got to support. Definitely got to support. So after that documentary, well, let's go back a little bit. How easy or difficult was it for you to put that together?
Have you ever looked at the credits of a film?
Mm-hmm.
How many people do you see in the credits?
752,000.
Yeah, so imagine not having that 752,000 people and you doing the bulk of all of those jobs. So it's definitely, it was enjoyable, because the thing was, like, when I was responding to a bunch of emails for my own project, it hits different than when I'm drowning in emails at a like 9-to-5 style job where it's like, this isn't my passion. So it's one of those things, like, yes, it was hard. Yes, sweat and tears, like real tears, like I'm actually crying. Like that happened during the process. But overall, one of the most rewarding things I've ever done.
That's dope. That is dope. Do you feel that the message was well received to your target audience?
Yeah, I was actually really surprised at, you know, because when it comes to, you know, honestly, when it comes to veganism, and at the time, you know, veganism is kind of trendy now.
Right.
But when I came out with my film, it wasn't as trendy and mainstream. So I would talk to my Black friends about veganism and they would straight laugh me out. So I was really surprised when some of those same people that were laughing at me, you know, they would watch my film and then they reach out to me a year later like, hey, Jazz, I ain't never tell you, but I actually cut out meat and I feel great. Like I didn't know how it hit some of my friends.
Wow.
But it did.
That is major. That's major. And to know that you made that with the desire in mind to impact people who were either consuming meat, right, and not knowing the disadvantages that it had on their body, or people who were on the fence, right? Because I was on the fence for a long time about meat, no meat, no meat. And it was more so a personal thing. It really wasn't about veganism or vegetarian lifestyle. It was more so just me trying to figure out what worked best for my body. And as I realized, like, yo, I eat certain things, I feel a different way. When I'm younger, you know, you young, you move and you eat on the go. You don't know what's making you feel what you're feeling. But I used to get really bad headaches all the time. And I just thought I had migraines. People always say migraines, migraines, migraines. Like, okay, cool. That's a migraine. But then one day, I'm like, yo, this headache, what did I have? What did I do to make myself have this headache? And I went back to the day before and I realized every single time I either ate bacon or hot dogs, I would get a debilitating headache the next day, like horrible the next day, to the point where I could barely open my eyes. And it would shut me down for hours. And I'm like, yo, how? So what I did was I said, let me do an experiment on myself. And this was maybe 10 years ago. And I stopped eating pork. I stopped eating any kind of pork whatsoever. And what I realized was I had not gotten those headaches for a very long time. So I said, you know what, let's test this out. Let's test and see if this is really the catalyst. So I gave myself permission to have pork. Next day, headache. I said, yo, what is this? And so now it's to the point where if something even has like a tiny bit of pork in it, I know right away. Right. And so I don't eat meat. There are times that I give myself permission to have meat, but I don't like those times. But I also don't like punishing myself like you can't have meat. But I also know that it's limited. It's very, very, very rare that I do it. I do keep seafood in my diet. I definitely keep seafood in my diet, and that's something that I need to find a substitution for, like that protein and the benefits that you get from the seafood for a man. I haven't found anything that substitutes that yet, but maybe after this we can talk about that and you can help me find some of those things. But I personally know that my body is grateful for my transition. Like, it's definitely not the same body that it was before. So like I talked about in our talk, and like something you just mentioned earlier, I go on my walk every single day. And my walk turns from a walk to a jog. Sometimes it's a run, and I'm running at speeds I haven't ran since high school. I know I wouldn't be able to do that if I was still consuming what I was consuming before. I wouldn't even have the energy to do it. And like now my lifestyle is so different. I have the energy all day. Like, people are like, yo, what are you on? I'm like, I'm on nothing. I'm absolutely on nothing. Like, if I do consume any legal drugs in my state, I do it to relax or meditate. I don't do it to just be like, yo, I'm stressed or whatever. No, I do it to meditate. I do it to go deeper into my thoughts. I don't do it for leisure or just chilling or because I had a tough day. I don't do that. I have the energy to go through the whole day just as is. I don't really need any catalyst. I don't drink coffee like ever. I really don't have any kind of stimulus that adds that to my life. It's just I go. So I know that I wasn't like that before, right? I was in a space where I did have coffee before. When I was working jobs at the time, during the time I was still eating meat, I would drink coffee. And I'm like, nah, this doesn't sit right with me. It feels wrong. This feels off to my body. And so I really just made that transition at that point. But then when I stopped the meat, it felt so much better. My body felt better, responding better. People were like, yo, when you hit a certain age, you're going to feel this and feel that. And I'm like, I don't feel these things that you're talking about, but I also don't eat like you eat. I also don't live like you live. So there's a difference there. So I'm glad that you have that out there. And I'm glad it impacted people the way you wanted it to. So my next question to you is this. What is something that is a passion project of yours that you have not told people about that is either in the works or you cannot wait to announce that it is in the works?
You want to know my secret? You want to know where the bodies are buried?
Mm-hmm. Show me the map.
So, because it's you.
Okay.
So, one thing that I want to work on, the industry is almost like, I don't want to say an abusive boyfriend, but then I do want to say that it's almost like an abusive boyfriend that knows how to like really hit your spot, but at the same time also knows how to really tear you down. And I think a lot of people, when they work in TV, whether they're in front of the camera or behind the camera, you know, we post our photos and we make people think, you know, the life is so glamorous. People are probably jealous, clamoring for our lives, but they don't understand a lot of the really shady things that go on behind camera and how a lot of people are treated, how people are exploited, how people are not given benefits. Like a lot of people who work in the industry, they don't own houses, they can't afford them. You know, they don't have retirement, they don't have health care. You know, one expensive operation could send them into bankruptcy. Wow. But that's not what they're portraying, you know? Right. So I almost would love to do a call out project, a whistleblowing project where I talk about like a lot of the stuff that's going on in the industry. That would be my dream project, because I love this industry so much. And sometimes I feel like, you know, I question myself, like, is it really my purpose to participate in it as is? Or is it my purpose to really create change within it so that creative people that come after me, they are participating in an ethical artistic endeavor, which is not what I'm seeing when I work on shows.
Yo. I just want to say kudos to you in advance for restructuring the industry. and the reason I took that long pause and that deep breath and made it so exaggerative and dramatic like I like to do is because I have the same feeling about the industry that I am in. It's such a horrible space in certain ways. People put their trust in people, but they are only a number to these people, right? It's not as bad as you described to me. However, it's just as bad as you described to the clients who are taken advantage of, who are putting their trust in these people, and all they talk about are these, 10K months, 20K months, and all these things. And it's great. Nothing's wrong with making money at what you do. But a lot of these same people, I rarely ever hear them talk about the transition for their clients. And I rarely ever hear them talk about how you impacted someone's life, right? The major breakthroughs, the aha moments, like that's the currency when you're in this kind of space. And people are taking that currency and forfeiting it just to say they got a 10K month. And I'm like, that's the goal. The goal is the 10K. Those come. Right? If you're good at what you do, those will come. But if you're not, if you're a horrible person, do you really want 10K from telling people you're helping them? You're really not. You're giving them this cookie cutter format that isn't applicable to everybody. They're getting 30% of the results they could have got. Like, to me, I feel like it's become almost like making it to the NBA, right? Like, it's like, oh, I want to get to the league. A lot of people want to get to the NBA because they love basketball, but they also never want to work a regular job, right? Mm-hmm. This is different. This work is about helping people. This work is about building different mindsets. And really, we're superheroes, right? We're superheroes. And you telling me you want to take your cape off, you want to take the cape off, you just want to get paid like you a superhero, but you don't really want to be a superhero. So that's my vent about that. So I can relate. And I really, really, really congratulate you in advance for restructuring the ethical side of that industry. And I really, I'm excited about that. I don't know when you're going to do it, but I know that I'll be available to listen to all ideas.
All right.
I'm down.
All right.
I'm definitely down. Yeah, I'm definitely down with that.
The dragon about to burn some shit up.
The dragon. So, yeah. You're in my phone as a dragon, right? I promise you.
You're in my phone as Iron Man.
Yes. Okay. All right. Bet. So people don't know what that means, but my favorite character is Iron Man. I don't have my phone with me because I would quote you the reason why I use that. I want to use the exact same quote. Do you remember what I said about that?
No, I don't. Give me the quote.
Okay. All right, so it's me. I said it, but I'm quoting me. basically
No.
Iron Man pretends that he doesn't care about anything because he cares a lot about everything. And he wants to make the world a better place. He wants to do great things, but he also has to make sure that people don't know that that's really what he wants to do, because then the pressure is even further, or even more intense. I don't think that's exactly what I said, but it's close to that, something like that. Like when you look at,
what? I think you might be a bit of a hybrid though. Because I feel like Tony Stark does have that like no fucks energy. You don't have that energy. Like you definitely give like Captain America energy. But I could see you still resonating with Iron Man because of the fact like he really does care a lot. Like give his life, he cares. So
but see, here's the thing. That's the magic about it, right? He cares so much. He cares more than Captain America. That's the thing. He cares more than Captain America, right? So a lot of people, when you see Tony Stark, he seems like an asshole. But that's the version of him that he has to portray in order to protect his vulnerability, because he's vulnerable because he lost so much in his life. So, for instance, in Iron Man 2, I believe it was, when he was like, you watch Iron Man 2, right? You're a Marvel buff, so I know you know.
I've seen all
right,
yeah.
Right. My bad. I'm sorry about that. I apologize. In Iron Man 2, when he was with a little boy, right? He was being a complete jerk to the little boy. But he also sent the little boy like thousands and thousands of dollars worth of stuff, knowing that he automatically was cataloging what he was going to do for this boy when he first met the boy. Like he cares so much, but he has to pretend like he doesn't, because he has to maintain that level of, I can't let anybody in because I lose the people I let in. Every single movie.
I agree. But I've never seen that with you. Like you've never given off, you don't give off jerk energy. You give off you care energy. So I do agree with you. I agree with the why you
I feel like
but you don't give off jerk energy.
That's not fair. Now I'm about to give off jerk energy. All right, so listen, wait. So we'll be back after this message. Our sponsor, who's a really like gangster sponsor?
No, you know what this kind of reminds me of? I remember I used to think I was like thick. You know how dudes like thick girls, and I used to walk around thinking I was thick, and I'd be like, yeah, thick. And then this dude from like Detroit kind of stopped me in my tracks and was like, hey friend.
Nah, hey friend.
Hey friend. You are not thick. Like you're athletic, you're in good shape, like you look amazing, but you and Meg Thee Stallion, y'all are in two different categories.
I feel like I'm having that moment right now. So I appreciate you. This is my hey friend moment. This is my hey friend moment.
Yeah, but you still like his passion towards righteousness, yes. But you do not come off as a jerk. You don't come off.
I'm editing this out of the show, so just so you know, I'm not. All right, fine, whatever. But that's where Iron Man came from. The concept of Iron Man came from. And I like to take things apart, put them back together, and make them work better. And I'm always willing to fall on the sword. So that's that. So we're gonna move from that topic because conflicting opinions here. So
because I said you're not a jerk.
Yes. People need to know how I care. They don't need to know that I care about them. They don't need to know that. That's personal information. That's for me to know, and for them not to know. You just snitched on me.
Okay, I hope your followers, I hope they hear this toxic masculinity.
Yes, extreme toxic masculinity. I am extreme toxic masculinity.
I mean,
I can't even say it with a straight face though. Like
I'm not mad at toxic masculinity. Like when everybody be trying to like throw it out the window, I'm just like, well, hold on. We can look. You know how girls will say they part Indian? Like I feel like a guy, like, yeah, like part toxic masculinity, just a little bit.
No, I don't ever let people know my toxic stuff, man. I don't have. Excuse me. Let me rephrase that. I don't have any toxic stuff. I don't have any toxic stuff. I'm purebred. None of it. Purebred, anti-toxic. So I'm Captain Planet when it comes to toxic energy. Okay, I have none. Don't look. None of it here.
Planet.
None of it here. All right. Since we on that, let's just jump into some random. I told you one random question. So my one random question. All right. If you could be a cartoon character, I normally say this for the end, but if you could be a cartoon character, and it's sad because I probably feel like you already know what you're about to say. If you could be one cartoon character, who would it be and why? Oh, it's a question she doesn't have the answer to.
I know. I don't have a quick one for this. Oh, I know. And I feel like it's because you just gave me that reference, but you were talking about Captain Planet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember Captain Planet. You remember Mother Earth?
Yes.
Gaia. Like she was, she was like the goddess.
Okay.
And she just come floating out in her little purple dress. Like, we got to protect this planet, y'all.
Right. And
like,
she was smooth. Like,
smooth. Her voice, like everything. She had a calming presence about her. And then, it was just kind of like, again, like I told you, I'm not a pack animal. I'm more of a lioness with mine, where it's like I'm the protector of like my people, but you don't really see me with everybody like that. And I feel like that was Gaia's vibe, like just this lone, beautiful warrior.
Okay.
So that's me.
Fine. I was hoping you said something I could be like, nah, you ain't got that energy, but whatever.
You ain't got the juice. You ain't got the juice.
You ain't got the juice. That's cool though. All right, I can see that. I could definitely see that. So I'm pretty sure, based on me talking about it.
No. I'm sorry. Can I answer? No, I know who I want to be if I was.
This is my show, right? This is my show, right? You can't just. I'm just. Go ahead. You can say.
I can talk.
You can talk. You can talk now. You can talk now.
Sorry. So, Pinky and the Brain. Do you remember that cartoon?
Mm-hmm.
Every day, Brain's ass was like, Pinky be like, "What you doing, Brain?" Brain's like, "I'm trying."
Same thing I do every day.
Every day, same thing I do every day. Yep. Like I'm trying to get this.
That'd be you.
I feel like that's me. Like I'm out here. What you trying to do, Jasmine? Trying to get this world, this whole ass world. So that is the cartoon character I would be.
So you changed it from this peaceful Mother Earth character that was just graceful and just super chill. You had this great description of why and all these things, and you was like, "Nah, I'm Pinky."
Matter of fact, yeah, my duality is real. Like, yeah,
I'm with that. I'll give you that. So I want to dig into something that we talked about earlier, and I want to talk about your journey to becoming a mermaid. I'm pretty sure there's some people that I know that want to know, how the hell do you do that?
You go to mermaid school.
Well, that's it, guys. You go to mermaid school.
Go to mermaid school. Like I went to Bali, I signed up for mermaid school, and that's how I became a mermaid.
Like, but no. Like, how do you? You ain't know that.
But no, I mean, something like that. Like during the pandemic, things were kind of shut down. So I was just like, well, if I'm going to be stuck in the house, I might as well do it in a really beautiful tropical island location. So I booked a one-way flight to Bali. And at the time, they made me book a round trip, but I canceled the other leg of the flight as soon as I got there. But yeah, so I just went to Bali, and I looked at Bali as an opportunity to get away from who I was, like just leave my identity behind. There is no Jasmine the producer, Jasmine the actress, Jasmine the girlfriend, Jasmine the daughter. It's like I just came out as a blank slate, and I just decided to let Bali do with me whatever it wanted to. And I remember seeing an advertisement for mermaid school. And when I saw it, at first I laughed, but then I was just like, wait. It reminded me of my childhood dreams when I was a little girl who watched The Little Mermaid and wanted to be a mermaid. And I was just like, you know what? This could be really dope. And I signed up. And then on the weekends, I would train with my mermaid tail. And then, we took a trip to the other side of the island, and we dived down to this sunken ship in the Balinese Sea with our mermaid tails, and took pictures with all the fish and the coral. And it was truly one of the most unique experiences I've ever had in my life. And it was like a dream.
Did you find treasure in the sunken ship?
I did not find, you know what? Yes.
No metaphoric treasure. I know where you're going. No metaphoric treasure. Actual treasure. I'm trying to get this money out here in these streets. Did you find some gold? Let me hold that. That's what I'm trying.
No.
right, fine. Tell us about the treasure that you
Don't
found.
go. No. You're right. I was about to go into the
No, go ahead. Tell
analogy.
us about the treasure. I know you was going. Go ahead. You go there. You have permission.
Emery, I found myself. No, but I did. I found a part of myself that I don't usually get to interact with. You know, like sometimes when we become adults, I don't know what adults had a meeting and said, let's all be serious. Like, I don't know who agreed on that shit,
Yo,
but
I need to be at the next meeting. We need to be
know,
at
I
the
need to be
next
at the next
meeting.
meeting. Like, adults, let's stop. We don't need to be serious. Let's put
Right.
on mermaid fins and just be swimming around in the sea and cut these work hours down.
Right. And let's get some Iron Man suits and some dragon wings and some fire. Like, let's do that. Like, why we got to be serious? Why we gotta have the news? Like, can we just do cartoons from 6 to 7? Can CNN be like Cartoon Now Network instead of like whatever it is? I don't want to do that. I don't want to know there's always some looming gory crap going on. And then you cycle it 24 hours a day. Like, who said that was smart? Like, you know what? Let's make them so petrified of living that we share this same shit every day, 24 hours a day.
Every day.
Like, and people
like
watch it.
Every time I turn, I don't watch the news, but every time I chime back in, like once every few years, it's almost like the same story with like recycled people. Like, I know if I turn on the news, it's gonna be like, okay, some black man got shot by a cop, somebody got raped, some political official did something stupid. Like, it's gonna be the same things, just with different people. I'm just like, I don't know if I need this in my psyche every day.
Yo,
I
went to my dad. I went to visit my dad the other day, right? And he wanted me. He invited me over to talk. Don't you hate those people who invite you over to talk, but when you get there, they gotta finish something first? Like, why did you have me come over? Well, you're different. You're dragging.
No, I've had different versions of that. Yeah.
So I get over there and he's like, oh, I just want to finish watching the headlines first. I said, Dad, these headlines didn't change since earlier, right? Like, they're the same headlines that you watched 12 o'clock news and the 4 o'clock news. And now it's the 6 o'clock news. And you're still watching the same headlines. You do know. And he's asking me questions like, what's going on over there in Ukraine, right? He asks me this every couple months. I know what's going on over there from the version of it that I know. I don't want to talk about that, though. I don't want to talk about that with you. We got bigger issues right here in this house, in this room that you invited me to talk to you in. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? But that to me is like the ultimate intentional frustration. Like, I don't want to intentionally frustrate myself. Like, I want to have as much peace and power over my day as possible. Why would I want to give it to CNN or the Fox News or the ABC or the whatever? Why would I want to give that to them? So I am very glad that I forgot what the hell I was talking about. So
no, but to your point, like, with me in the news, I don't like hearing about a bunch of problems if I know that I'm not going to do anything to solve them. So I think, even the Ukraine thing, everybody finds it necessary to stay, like, oh, let me keep watching this. Let me know everything that's going on. It's just like, well, are you going to send any money to the people over there? Because otherwise, a lot of what we do as Americans, like, we watch these heinous stories as we sit at home, like on our iPhones, and then we use it as like a conversation point and nothing more. And it's just like, well, at that point, what's the point? Like, if you are watching these stories, they should inspire people to do something to better the human condition. But if you're not inspired to do anything about the stuff that you see, like, honestly, I think there's no purpose of watching it. And some people will say, like, oh, to stay informed.
To be informed, like, right?
To an extent, like, I don't know. I mean, like, something like rape that's been present since the world started. There will always be a rape case. Like, do I need that information? Do I need to know exactly who was raped and why for my survival? No, I don't need to be informed about things like that.
Right.
But you could inform me on how to make the world a better place. Like you could put that in the news. You could start putting solutions in the news, which
Yeah.
I think would be a better thing to inform people on.
Yeah, that's another industry that needs a makeover. So maybe when you get done with the TV and film industry, we could tackle the news industry together. We could tackle the news industry together because I mean, I don't even want to spend too much time on the news because when I think of news, I don't get depressed, but I get upset. So I'm gonna not talk about it. I even said this to my father. I'm like, yo, Dad, remember when the news used to be like sandwich style? Like it'd be like, oh, well, we, this shooting in such and such and such a place and this dog show. And then it'd be like they used to have dog shows on the news all the time. Do you remember that?
I do not. I don't remember the dog show. I was never into the news.
I never was either, but it was always playing when I was getting ready for school because my grandmother used to always have the news on when I would get ready for school. And they'd have birthdays, they'd have like stuff. It would be like a nice conglomerate of information. And now
what
it's
city
just
were
like
you in?
Buffalo, New York.
Oh, maybe they weren't really that popping in Buffalo like that.
What you trying to say?
I'm just saying, like, if you
I mean, what you trying
like the crack capital of the world, like they might have been.
You trying to say Buffalo whack?
I'm trying to say what Buffalo. I think they might just be a little less crime ridden, but I don't know Buffalo, so let me not speak on it.
Mm-hmm. All right.
If it's the murder capital of the world, let me know.
It's not the world. You know what? We're gonna go somewhere else with this conversation. All right, so I'm gonna ask you some questions. They're gonna be kind of rapid fire because we kind of gone over time, and I know that you said you really don't want to talk to me past a half hour, so that's cool. So the next question is, what is an obstacle that you faced in getting into the industry that you're in or while in the industry that you're in, and what did you do to overcome that obstacle? If you can talk about it.
One of the biggest obstacles I faced was honestly having to like relax my ethics. That was one of the hardest parts because when you work in TV, there's parts of the job that are amazing. Like I've been at work and it's just like I'm at work and there's Beyonce 3 feet away from me. Like the average person doesn't get that on their work day. So It's like you have these amazing experiences, but then you also have these other experiences where you're just like, this doesn't feel right with my heart. But it's not murder, so I'm gonna do it for this paycheck, but I'm not necessarily proud of it. So I think that's one of the hardest parts of the industry, like relaxing your ethics. And now I got over that by kind of making a deal with myself, like, Jazz, you know what? If you go back, if you do any, when you work on any show or anything, if things ethically start getting too out of hand, like little stuff is just like, all right, I'll turn my head. But like once it starts getting to a level, like you have to speak up loudly and proudly. And that's what I've done. And
how has that been received?
Oh, sometimes you don't get brought back. Like you don't get brought back. You stand up for yourself and it's just like, well, I know I'm not coming back the next season, but glad you know how I felt.
Right. Has there ever been a time that you did express yourself and they took that information and kind of made the situation better?
Usually no, because a lot of TV shows, they're a machine and, they'll deliver budgets and then they'll have to, in these budgets, of course, they exploit the people working on the show in order to make it for such a cheap price. So if you're one of the lone people complaining, it's almost like you're standing between $1 million TV shows and execs and their money. So a lot of times, like they don't intend to change. They just not gonna bring you back because the industry also, because it's so glamorous, you can find high schoolers. You can find people straight out of high school that are tech savvy that are like, oh, I'll do this job for free. Or I'll do this job for, $400, $500 a week. So it's almost like in TV, you're so expendable that when you call stuff out, it's just like, oh, okay, we can find 80 people lined up who would kill to do your job at half the price. It's hard to get change when it's like that.
Wow. That's deep. Very deep. I have like a lot of questions about that, but I won't go into them here because that's a rabbit hole. I feel like there's a rabbit hole. I feel like I feel like you were ready for me to go to the rabbit hole.
I mean, see.
But no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it.
Like, I'm not gonna take the bait.
Not this time. But so what piece of advice, and I feel like you just gave a really great piece of advice just now about speaking up for yourself and understanding that you may lose the gig, but you won't lose yourself, right? What piece of advice would you have for somebody who may be entering into that industry or any industry where they have to be ethically aware of where they are? And, you know, what would you say to that person, or how would you have a conversation with that person?
Oh, if I was talking to someone who wanted to go into the entertainment industry, I would first tell them, always be honest with yourself, and what you came in the industry to do. Like, if you came in the industry to be an artist, then, you know, you shouldn't be letting people take advantage of you. You shouldn't take part in exploiting other people. Like, you have to really ask yourself, is what I'm doing, is it spiritually aligned with what I came on this earth to do? And if you feel a disconnect, then it's time to recalibrate. And then also, I would tell anyone coming in this industry to make sure you protect yourself. Like, I know a lot of people who work in entertainment, again, a field where they do not like to give you benefits. They don't like to give you retirement. They don't like to give you healthcare. One accident can bankrupt them. Make sure if you go into this industry, you protect yourself so that's not you. Make sure you're saving up so you can get a house and you're not, you know, in your 50s, 60s, still renting and with no retirement. So you got to bag groceries at 80 just to like stay afloat. So yeah, I would just say protect yourself, be responsible, financially responsible. And yeah, like make sure what you're doing professionally aligns with you spiritually.
I like that. I like that a lot. So I have two more questions.
Two more questions.
Two more questions, yes. So the next question I have for you is, who is someone that you wish you could work with that you haven't worked with yet? And I'm going to give you the second one right now. The second question is, who is someone that you always wanted to work with that you did get a chance to work with?
You know what? Honestly, when it comes to those questions, like who would you love to work with? Who would you, like who's your hero? All that. Working in the industry has taught me like you don't really know people until you know someone. So like if I'm saying like, oh, I wish I could work with Steven Spielberg or something, like it's like, yeah, he's a great director. I don't know him personally. I don't know how he treats people. I don't know if, you know, I don't know. I think he looks like a great guy. But my point is I've learned not to put anyone on a pedestal that I do not know. So if I was working on something, honestly, I want to work with like a best friend, like someone I know and someone I trust.
Okay, that makes sense. So to answer this question properly, let me reframe this answer. So someone you would really want to work with and you haven't worked with yet on a film is me. That's the answer. That's the answer.
How did you know?
Perfect. You know what? It's on my cue card over here. I got little like questions with answers, and that was like that was B. Like Beyonce was A, I was B,
you were
and
definitely
then
A.
nobody was C. So I was A. Okay, perfect.
Definitely A. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So now the last question of the two questions is tell people. It's never been a question. It's more of a like me just talking. Tell people where they can find you, how they can check you out, and just where to check out your work. Like, I want you to go in on a rant right now and just tell them everything.
Google me.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't. You've been waiting to say that. You've been waiting to say that.
Your character just dropped. Like, you just lost like 500 points. No. I mean, but seriously, you can. But here's the thing. I'm on social media, but I'm not one that like tough. I have a really funny relationship with it. So you can find me on social media, Jasmine _C_Leyva or The Invisible Vegan. You can find me. I have a website, jasmineleyva.com or theinvisiblevegan.com. And yeah, if you do want to see some of my, talks, you can go on YouTube and just Google my name and like my stuff will come up. So that's where you can find me.
Awesome. Now that the show is over, I'm not done. This is going to be on there as well.
The third question, guys.
This is off. We're done. The questions are done. I want to know more about the project where you were like a killer.
Oh my God.
On YouTube, on your YouTube channel.
Oh my God. So
I never talked to you about this. So I want to know about this project where you were like a killer. Like, tell me about this project and like who was involved. Just tell me about the project. Like, just so y'all know, like she might kill you.
Oh my God. So I feel like I am a very considerate person. Like I'm super considerate, and etiquette is very important to me. And it's certain things that people
no one
do.
ever answers a killer question like this. I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to them. Be careful with people who answer a question about killing people like this. Keep going.
Yeah.
I'm a considerate person. Like what? Whoa.
This is a real life psycho shit. American Psycho. So yeah, I'm a super considerate person. And I just noticed where so many inconsiderate things are just becoming like mainstream habits. Like for example, people will flake at the last minute. And it's one of those things like when people do it to me, like I literally have to hold back my nuclear missile that I want to send to their homes. And even like people showing up late, like I'll get somewhere and I'm like, do you think it's okay for me to be sitting in this restaurant waiting on your ass, like fucking hired help for 45 minutes? Like it's things like that. It, as you could tell, like it's a certain chord. And so I decided to channel that energy into almost like not a fantasy, because I don't hope people will die, but someone who every time someone does some inconsiderate bullshit to her, she can just find some creative way to just kill them and just rid the world of them. So that was, and a lot of things on the in the show, like you can relate to, like, if you're in your car and then that person comes with that dirty water, that dirty squeegee water, and you're like, no, I'm good. And they spray it on your car anyway. It was an episode like that, and I killed the dude that did it. So I just thought it was just a fun outlet.
It was very dope. It was dope. And I brought that up because I want people to know, like, there's content out there where you can get to see who she really is, right? You could get to see.
Why I gotta be who I really am?
You could get to see who she truly is. But no, I thought it was really cool. Like the birthday one was my favorite. I'm not gonna tell nobody about the birthday one. The birthday one was my favorite. And then the one with the I think the best friend and the birthday one were similar, the same. And yeah, I mean, it's dope. So all of that to say, go check this person out, right? Go check out Jasmine's page. Go check out the website. Go check out The Invisible Vegan. If you have somebody in your life that is struggling with their health, that is struggling with things to do with their health, and they don't know where to turn, they talk to doctors and they haven't had answers, check out The Invisible Vegan. You might learn something that you didn't know, and it might help you transition yourself or somebody you care about into a lifestyle that may help them, right? I'm not advocating for veganism. I want you to make your own decision. I'm advocating for information. Go get the information. It may help you. If you use it, great. If you don't, it's still a dope documentary. Go check it out. You might see some people you like in there. And it's directed and created by this individual right here, Jasmine, super dope, the dragon. So before I let you go, any last words you got for anybody, for the people?
I just want to say thank you to everyone who has joined us on what is and will be the best episode of Coach Emery's podcast.
Wow.
The best. And a special thank you to you for having me. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of what you're creating. And I feel like you create a really safe space for Black women in your life. And I appreciate you.
Wow. Well, thank you. That's a high standard to hold me to. I can't let any of my toxic male energy out now. So I appreciate you as well. Thank you for taking out your time. Thank you for taking the time to hang out with me today. Are you in Cali right now? Is it West Coast time for you right now?
Yeah, it's West Coast.
Okay, well, thank you for...
I'm in Sherman Oaks. Well, I'm in LA, but Sherman Oaks.
I don't really get it.
Yeah, I don't think it didn't feel right.
I don't really get
Yeah,
it.
edit.
Nah, I'm gonna keep it in there. I want them to know that I didn't get it. So again, y'all, check this out. I appreciate y'all for watching or listening, depending on which way you're doing this. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you check this out. Check her out as well. And come back next time. This is dope. As we always like to do, I like to inspire, but have a little bit of fun. Thank you, as always. Be dope and be great. Peace.
Sherman up.